Hey y'all, I'm back. I'm back for us to talk about hunting wives. Now, listen, I'm about to get into episodes 3, 4, and 5. So make sure that you're coming into the video, you're liking up the video, you're sharing the video, and you also subscribing to the channel. All right. Now, let's go ahead and hop right on into it. All right. Now, in episode 3, it kind of starts, it begins 6 months before, Abby's murder out in, the woods or whatever the case is. Right. Now, we're introduced to this particular officer named Salzar, I believe is her name. And where we see her at is outside of this home where she hears screaming and all of that. So they're trying to see if they can find this girl, because remember, at the NRA meeting, and I think even before that, there's a young lady named Casey Crummel that has gone missing. So they were tipped off about, yo, she could be over here at this abandoned home or whatever like that, over here in the woods or whatever. So that's why they're out there, right? Because they're hearing screams and stuff. So while she's going inside, and she was told to wait before going inside, while she goes inside, let me get this up on the screen, okay? Just because I want it up here. Now, while she goes in, she, instead of her waiting for backup, she decides to go in there on her own, and it leads to her getting her ass shot. And I do believe she got shot in the head, okay? So all we see is the boots of the person, but we do learn at a later time that they have a significant smell about them. All right. So, and that'll come up at a later time. All right. So that's what's going on. Now, fast forward to present day, Sophie is avoiding Margot, because remember, when she took the husband's car, or she took that car, she was out on the town buying stuff. The one-eyed man walked up on her and was like, yo, I'm trying to have a conversation with you or whatever. She decides to alert Margot. She doing all of this to notify Margot and say, Margot, this man is on to you, he's harassing me, whatever the case is. She get back to Margot's lake house because obviously Margot wasn't answering the phone. I guess it's that important that your ass gotta run up and find Margot so you could let her know. Margot know that man been chasing her ass before you got there. Okay. So she know what's going on. You just want to see that lady. So anyway, she pulls up to the house and she see that Margot over there fucking on Brad. Because remember, Brad pulled up to the house. She wanted to let Brad know, like, listen, we can't hunch on each other no more because my husband finna run for governor. Well, Brad was not trying to hear that SHI. And, she loved that little young peen anyway. So she decided to hop on that zick or whatever. And then you see Sophie caught her. And she wanted Sophie to catch her because she was looking at her dead in her eyes while she was getting her song. Okay. And Sophie damn near got mesmerized before she walked off. So she's been kind of like avoiding her. Right. And so meanwhile, you got Jill, who happens to be Brad's mom. Jill is married to the pastor. She's annoyed because she don't like the fact that her son and Abby are getting closer with each other. Okay. This is all before the woman that was dead in the woods is found out to be. And I already gave y'all a spoiler alert, girl. It's Abby, period. Okay. Oops, my bad. All right. If you saw the review of one, that means you should have went and watched them episodes first, okay? Before you got here. Anywho, so she's feeling away. She don't like the fact that they're close because she feels like Abby is a gold digger, all because Abby is poor and her mama is on the heavier side. Like, she don't like the girl, right? As if other rich girls can't be gold diggers too. Like, hello. Meanwhile, Brad and Abby are pretty much arguing, and he thinks that she's been acting a bitch because her cycle is on. But what he doesn't know is that she knows about him not coaching the twins, because remember when she was at the restaurant, the twins' real mama, who happens to be the ex-wife to Jed, pulled up on her at the restaurant to get the kids something to eat. And that's when she learned that these kids have never been in basketball, coaching or none of that. They don't do that. So I don't know where you got that from. She learns that he been lying. So with her learning that, she's starting to believe that him and Margot may have something going on, and you're not wrong. So he tries to lie to her, but she ended up snatching his phone, going through the phone, and she sees that he has the secret app on his phone. It's called Signal. And she's like, girl, what the hell is this? Really? So what ends up happening is she trying to snatch the phone. No, he trying to snatch the phone from her, but she ended up pulling so hard that the phone flew out the window and the phone broke. So they had this argument. Whole time her mama seeing that this done went down. Now, at some point, her mama does try to console Abby and talk to her, and Abby pretty much snapped on her mama and told her, like, you can get the hell out of my face, because it ain't that like, look, you and daddy, because my man love me. Okay, let's be very clear about that. So you can get the hell out of my room. So she really shut her mama down. It was really rude. But anyway, so Jill back at the house, and she over there snapping on Brad about making sure that he doesn't end up with the wrong girl. Okay, basically saying make sure that you won't mess around and get Abby pregnant while you over here doing all this hunching. And I say, baby, Abby's not the one you need to worry about, even though you should, but you shouldn't. It's more than just Abby. Now, it made me question who the hell is Abby's dad. I was wondering who her dad was. Um, I think one of you guys mentioned it because I may have missed it in the episode that her dad, Abby's dad, and Gio may have met in high school or whatever the case is. I'm wondering because the way everybody is so connected to each other, I'm wondering who's this baby's real dad. But anyway, Jill says that she doesn't know how much money they got because Abby's dad abandoned Star and Abby. And that was the moment that made me feel like, well, who the hell is her daddy? Now, the ladies done took Sophie to the store and she done bought her a damn gun. A person that wasn't here for guns, wasn't all about that. She gets so easily influenced and it pisses me off. And I'm wondering, did Sophie not get a chance to fully live out her young life and ended up marrying this guy, getting pregnant by him too soon or something? Like, I mean, the influence that these ladies have over Sophie is killing me. Knowing that when she first came into the show, the season, she didn't really want to be associated with all that type of glitz and glam, it seemed. But now it don't take much to convince you to take alcohol. It doesn't take much to get you to drive a car that you wasn't drinking, that you wasn't driving anymore. Like, Sophie just makes dumbass decisions, and it just makes me feel like that shit she's been doing. When it comes to this gun, are you not interested in guns because your husband isn't interested in guns? Like, did you adopt your personality and your identity based on your husband and how he shows up? Because you are annoying to me. Because you're saying one thing and doing another, but the actions that you're doing is really who Sophie truly is. She just can't live that way with her damn husband. Okay, now Callie. Callie is annoyed on the hunting trip because she sees how Margot is getting really close to Sophie. She don't like that. So at some point when Sophie is trying to show, Margot is trying to show Sophie how to shoot. Y'all know she was getting all physical with her and stuff. So of course, Callie don't like stuff like that. Now when they're back at the lake house and after seeing that, Callie already trying to dig in deep to find out tea on Sophie, and she did learn that information from her husband from Sophie's past. So they play a game called Never Have I. Right? Never have I ever. And once it gets to Callie, because he came out of nowhere, she just blurts out, oh, never have I ever killed someone. And she's looking dead at Sophie. And Sophie said, girl, what is this? She said, well, you know how to play the game. And she said, girl, well, you already know, so why the hell I got to talk about it? But since you brought it up, let me talk about it. So she confesses to being so drunk that she got into an accident that resulted in the death of a pedestrian. Right? So she gets upset. She ready to leave. And Margot like, don't you go nowhere. Okay, because now I see my opportunity to sink my heels into you just a little bit because I know you want me in the same way that I want you. So, y'all get the hell out, especially you, Callie, because I don't like that you pulled. Okay, yeah, BIT. I mean, damn. Do you have your husband doing research and background checks on all of us? Yes, she do, and she know all about your past too, Margot. Now, when you give her the opportunity, because you are gonna I think that's gonna happen in season 2 or 3. It's gonna come a time where you're gonna probably flip on her and she's gonna be ready to expose your ass. But you're gonna play it up enough because you got that sexual connection with her and that emotional connection with her that she may not use it against you in an effort to remain close to you. But you will be utilizing her and her husband in the effort to get back at Sophie in some fashion. But we shall see. So she done kicked the ladies out, and Margot done already texted Sophie done already texted her husband and said, oh, I'm on my way home, but she never went home. Instead, Margot convinced her to stay. She convinced her to open up to her more. She ends up drinking more, right? It was a mess. Margot lets her know, I ain't never come from no money. All right. I fell into this shit. I ain't never know who my daddy was, which was really cap. She says, he was just, okay, let me go back. No, this was Sophie. I believe it was. Okay, so after Margot kicked the ladies out and kept Sophie around, this is when Margot tells her more about herself. So Margot says, and she's still kind of lying, right? She never knew her father. She says she never came from money. She says that she was just some random affair partner, I guess, for Jed or whatever, as he had a whole nother family the whole time. No, I'm sorry. I'm mixing it up. She's talking about her dad. Her dad was a random affair partner. Okay. She says her dad had a whole other family. So basically her mama was a side chick and got pregnant. Okay. She says when her mama died, she skipped town. She says since then she's done whatever she wants with whoever she wants because it's fun. Now all of that she didn't really lie about, but I do feel like she knew her daddy. Now, Sophie already texted her husband, said she was going to be on her way home, but she never went. Hanging out with Margot, getting drunk. Margot said, I got a surprise for us. I'm inviting some people over. She invite over the high schoolers, Brad and Jami. They go, they kick it with them. They do some drinks. They do some Xanax and all of that. Mind you, Abby is trying to get in touch with Brad because she's thinking that her and Brad are still good, or at least hoping they are, and he's going to take her to Cream Pie's party. Well, Brad actually is supposed to be on punishment because after his mama checked him about not getting old girl pregnant and they having their exchange of words, she grounded him so he couldn't go to no damn party. Right? Um, so he still sneaks out the house with Jami so that he could go hang out with Margot. Now, Jami is making the moves on Sophie, but Sophie not really going for it because she feels like, you're young. But again, she keeps going against her best wishes. Having fun, hanging out with Jami, flirting with Jami, kissing Jami, playing spin the bottle, kissing on Margot, kissing Jami, like just doing all this stupid shit. And it's just, it's very irritating a bit because, like, where's your brain? Now, since Abby could not talk to Brad and get him on the phone, she decides to call Pastor Pete of all people to take her down to Cream Pie's party. Now, Pastor Pete tells her that Brad told him about those two having sex. Now, when Pastor Pete tells her this, I don't believe that Brad ever told him that. I never believed that he did. But that's what Pastor Pete said. Abby was so pissed that she got out the car. She got out of his car, stormed out, leaving her jacket in his back seat. Meanwhile, he's still in the car. At some point, he looking at her photos on social media and he being his... I wanted Pastor Pete to take that damn skull cap off, and I wanted to see that big ass injury or gash in the back of his damn head as to why he keep that shit on all the time, because I knew Pastor Pete was crazy as hell. Period. Now, back at the lake house, because now at this point, Abby's searching the whole party because she think Brad is there, but he ain't. Meanwhile, everybody knows that Abby and Brad got busy. Now, how they know, I don't know. Maybe Brad did tell, but I don't think Pastor Pete found out from Brad. I think he found out from other people. Back at the lake house, we already got into everything that was taking place over there at the lake house, child. It was a mess. Now, Jill calls Abby, right? After she got home, I guess she realized that Brad wasn't at the house. So she's asking, like, where he at? She's like, I don't know. You tell me where your son is at. You the one that seem to know all the damn things about him. The way you keep him on a leash and this and that. So Abby pretty much starts dragging her and starts telling her about, how about I tell everybody about your precious son and the type of son that you got, that he'll go out here and be airing this out and saying this and that, and I'll tell him about your ass too. So Abby kind of snapping off on her and Jill snapping back. And then she says, you know what, matter of fact, we should have a conversation. Let's meet in person. Okay. Now this is setting the scene for us to believe that something is going to happen to Abby, and we're supposed to believe that Jill is the one that did it. Now, shortly after this conversation happened, by the end of that night and the end of episode 3, we learned that Abby was found dead, shot in the woods. And what's interesting is the lake house, the woods, and wherever Cream Pie's house is all somewhat connected, okay? Because they all live on in this neighborhood with this lake, okay? Now, episode 4. Now, everybody mourning the death of Abby, and Sophie, she's getting told off by her husband for not answering the calls. Not only did she not answer the calls, but she also killed a boar. Things that he was surprised to know that she would even be interested in, and all of that. Right? She showed up the next morning. He didn't like that. And she still was up there lying when he asked her about drinking, and she's saying that she wasn't drinking. So he also don't know that she owns a gun either. He don't know that she bought a gun at this time too. So she up there in the house looking for her gun because her gun is not in its case. Okay, there's that. Now, everybody's sending flowers to Jill like she lost somebody. And I was so damn confused. Why y'all showing up at her house like she lost somebody, knowing damn well she didn't even like Abby like that? Like, huh? I could see if you showed up and you said, this is for Brad, or I'm bringing this to Brad, but y'all showing up giving it to her like she went through something. So, anywho, you got Pastor Pete over there in the church drinking, child. And I like how they're playing it up, because how they're setting the scene is making you feel like, could it have been Pastor Pete? He was over there being this meat to the girl photo. Like, could he have like got a hold of her and did something to her that night? Was it Jill? Because Jill didn't like her and Jill was gonna go meet with her. So I love the mystery of it all and us having to figure out who was the person that actually did this, right? Could it have been Brad? Because Brad was so high and drunk. And then we're wondering, could it have been Sophie? Sophie was found out by the lake. Maybe the Xanax had her hallucinating and she didn't know what happened and she could have clapped her. Like, I love that we are in this space of trying to figure out who done it. So Margot faking as goes over to see Jill and tells Jill that she needs an aggressive attorney for this murder case. And Jill like, girl, why the hell would I need one? Like, are you okay? First of all, Jill is coming at her like, how do you even know I was going to meet up with her or that I had a call with her? So Jill is wondering, is she's saying this as if Margot may know something about her. But then at the same time, like, why did you say, like, why are you saying that? Do you know something else that I don't know? Because I know I didn't kill her, but what you know? Okay, so Jill is confused because keep in mind also her son was gone that night, so she don't know if her son had something to do with it either. So the whole family is looking suspicious at this point, but she don't know that Margot was really the one that was with her son the whole night. Now, everybody is giving suspects when it comes to Abby, as I just said. And Margot goes and she decides to check on Brad. She's like, well, I just want to check on Brad, this and that, because I got something for him. But she really don't give a damn about Brad grieving. Brad in there crying, he upset and everything. All she want to do is make sure that they alibis match and that she's not being incriminated in some fashion. That's what she wants to make sure. Margot ends up linking up with her girl Callie, and she only goes to link up with Callie after telling Callie they can't hunch on each other no more. She going to link up with Callie so she can figure out what Callie's husband Johnny knows, because he's like the head of the police department or whatever. So she's trying to figure out like, well, what he know, right? So Callie asked if she thinks Brad did it, and she was like, oh girl, no. Margot said, girl, no, I definitely don't think it was him at all, but I think that he should look further south. Now it clicked for me when she said look further south. She was trying to incriminate the border, incriminate the Mexicans. Okay, so Callie links with her husband and tells her that that with the two cases of Abby and Casey, then he could play that angle up, because Callie, after that she has that talk with Margot, she go see her husband, right? Because it's time to get him his shot in his ass. Okay, I don't know, maybe it was a B12 or what is it? Is it B12? Whatever shot they give you, it's okay for some energy. That's what it seemed like she was going to give him. I'm not sure what it was, but when she goes there, she's telling him about the Abby and the Casey case, right? This is going to be a lot of attention, and this will be a great time for you to play up your angle, right? With the borders in so many words. And he was like, oh, okay. I said, okay, I see where y'all going with this. This is going to be a mess. This is about to be a mess. So Jill at the house trying to get her husband to get her son a lawyer. Her husband said, let me tell you something. Okay. If our son had anything to do with this, Lord have mercy on him, because I know I won't. I'm starting to wonder if Brad is even his child. The way that Jill sees, and let me tell y'all what my thoughts are. And this would be crazy if it's true, but I could be wrong. Now I feel like we'll never know. But I wonder, is Brad really his child, or was Jill and the pastor having a hard time conceiving? She may have gone out, gotten pregnant by somebody else, which is why her husband was not at the damn birth, because they go back into time and show her having giving birth to Brad, but I don't know if I ever saw the husband there. So Brad has always been the apple of her damn eye. That's one. So we know that Brad is her child, but we don't know if Brad is his child. I also wonder if Abby was the child of the damn pastor back when they was in high school. And maybe Jill knows this, which is why she can't stand Star and also can't stand Abby, because of the speculations that that could be the pastor's child, potentially. I could be wrong. Whole time the pastor done lost his damn daughter, which is Abby. Okay, but when Abby said our relationship is not like you and Dad's, he loved me, it made me question, does Abby know who her real dad is? Maybe she does. I don't know. Who knows? I don't, but that would be some freaky, crazy SHI, right? And it sucks because of how everything plays out in the end of the show. So I've already seen the full show, y'all. I'm just going back recapping for y'all. Yeah. I hate that. I'm like, dang, this angle would have been good. But anywho, so Jill then goes to make sure their son's stories matches hers, because she was also gone that night and he don't know that she was on the phone with Abby and she was planning on linking up with Abby. So now she could be incriminated based on the optics on top of her son. So not only is she trying to protect herself, she's trying to protect her son too, to make sure that their stories are linked up. Now, Sophie over there at Margot's house, looking for that gun because she can't find it, right? She calls her and lets her know, like, yo, girl, I'm on my way to your house because I gotta find something. She never told her it was the gun, but she said, I need to find something. Okay, so I'll be over there. So when she get over there, Margot not there, but she let herself in. So then she started looking all around the house, girl, all of her closets, found her panties. I think she was gonna keep the panties or whatever. It was all real weird. Next thing you know, Margot pops up on her. It's like, hey, girl, you looking for something? Okay, what you in my closet for, bitch? What's going on? Was that you that came by my house the last time and snuck up in here, going all through my shit? Okay. So they end up having some conversation, small talk about Jami. Talk as far as Jami liking, because now what Abby is, I'm not Abby, what Margot is trying to do is plant a seed in Sophie's head that maybe Jami could have been the person to kill Abby, considering the fact that Brad said that Jami was going to be a problem. So she's like, you know, he had a crush on Abby and this, that. So she's trying to divert all of the attention to other places. So Abby, so then they also talk about Sophie's, I believe they talked about Sophie's gun. I can't remember if they did. I think she said that she lost her gun or something like that, or whatever the case was. Moral of the story, the ladies end up getting real touchy and filly with each other. They finally have sex. I have to be honest and say I was glad they went ahead and rubbed one out, because the way the sexual tensions between the two was rising, it's like, can y'all go and get this over with, y'all? Okay, so Sophie opens up about her scar that she had, like, on her abdomen or whatnot, or her lower pelvis area. She said that her and her husband had been trying to get pregnant. It got really difficult. It got to a point where I guess she either couldn't have the child or she miscarried or like something. I don't know if she couldn't get pregnant or either miscarried, but whatever it was, she was bleeding a lot. She had to have an emergency hysterectomy, so she can't have any more children. Let her tell it. And then also, because of that, it led her to drink. She was really emotional about it. It led her to drink. And with her doing a lot of drinking, it led to her getting behind the wheel, which led to that accident and her unaliving somebody, which has now led to her taking Xanax. Okay, so it's a lot going on. But maybe she was taking the Xanax before the end. But Miss Sophie got a lot of stuff going on. And the way Sophie really wanted another child makes me question how true that is, considering the fact that I feel like she's detached to the son that she do got. So, okay. Anywho, so Brad is brought in for questioning. And when he's leaving, Star Mom does seize him, and she believes that he did, and she feels like he should be arrested. So as the detective Salazar, as she's watching all of this go down, she decides to take this as an opportunity to question Star's mom and, do further investigation, because she is also believing that Brad could be the person at this time. So Clint, the pastor who's married to Jill, goes to have a talk with Pastor Pete, because remember, Pastor Pete was over there in the church drinking. So he brings that to the front. Like, I heard you was up here in the church drinking. Okay. And if you grieving this hard over what happened, listen, I feel like you might be too close to the youth. You're a little too close to the kids. Okay. I need you to slow back and ease back just a little bit. Because listen, this ain't Louisiana. This ain't Louisiana, boo. So now I'm wondering what really happened down to the Louisiana. Okay. Now, Pastor Pete is a very filthy guy in my personal. The way he was over there masturbating to Abby's photo the night that he drops her off, very nasty guy. But it seems like he's going to be setting his sights on somebody else very soon. So later on that night, and let me go back. I believe the pastor pretty much told the head pastor, Jill's husband, I believe that he told Pastor Pete to pretty much step down, because you too close to the students. You got a lot going on. I brought you here to give you another chance. You need to fall back, hold what you got, type thing. So later that night, there's a candlelight vigil for Abby. Now, as the pastor is up there talking in honor of Abby, Jed takes his ass up there, girl. He gonna take his moment up there, talk about some damn Showtime to get a photo op with this girl's mama. Then turn around and announce, he uses this as a campaign night or something, and announces his run for governor, all while promoting the NRA. After she was also shot with a gun. Like, it's just crazy. So Jed, he just did too much. I said, you definitely are giving true politician before he even got started. Now, I just feel like he was disrespectful. The police do pull up, eventually interrupting his speech, and they arrested Abby with her. They arrested Sophie with her dumb ass, okay? Because her gun was used to kill Abby. Now, her husband up there looking stupid as hell. Because he like, my wife don't even own a gun, so I don't even know what y'all talking about. And they like, listen, we need to talk to her. She's going to have to come down to the station with us. We hear that shit you talking, but it don't matter because her gun was used in that murder, period. Whether you like it or you don't like it. That's what it was, okay? So husband is shocked. To one, be embarrassed the way that he has been, but then also to know that your wife lied. You didn't even know she had a gun. So not only was you out there shooting boars, you got your own gun and you could have potentially killed this lady. Like, yeah, that's crazy. So we get to episode 5, and Sophie over there being questioned about her whereabouts, and her whole time her alibi has been at Margot's house because she wasn't lying. Of course, Sophie's past felony of her drinking and the accident is being brought up, so they're definitely planning to use that against her because all of this is not looking good when it comes to the death of Abby. It was your gun. You seem to be a reckless person because you was drinking, and if you was drinking at night, it could have led to you killing Abby, just like your drinking led to you killing that pedestrian. So that's not looking good. Jed, meanwhile, he over there talking to Margot because he feeling away. He don't like the fact that the publicity. First of all, he don't like the fact that his speech was interrupted by the police arresting somebody, and he don't like the fact that Sophie's arrest overshadowed his speech and his announcement for governor. And I'm like, that's what you get because you brought your ass out there trying to overshadow the fact that Abby ass is dead, and we trying to figure out who the hell murdered her. And you talk about you running for governor, boy, shut up. So Sophie finally tells her husband about blacking out and how she's been drinking and also driving, but not doing it at the same time. And as much as Sophie has been lying to him, it does seem that he believes that she didn't kill Abby. Right? Now, Sophie is being iced out. She is being iced out by other banks, right? They not answering the phones. She decided to pull up at their house. It's like they don't want no affiliation with her because obviously the husband is running for governor, so he don't need no blowback. Especially knowing that her gun was used to kill this young innocent little girl or young girl, and he over here promoting the NRA. That's not a good look. When they really was trying to get it to point down south to go towards the Mexicans and stuff, right? Nah, it's a little too close to home. So they trying to like separate themselves from her. Everybody done blocked her on social media too. So now she's seeing and realizing what the hell going on, and she feel like she's being framed. And the banks have something to do with it, okay? Just that simple. Now, like I told y'all earlier, Pastor Pete got his eyes set on somebody else, and that girl happens to be the friend or the relative of Abby. Okay? And we gonna see that play out. Now, Brad links up with Jami at the basketball court. Jami's still distraught. He pretty much questions whether or not Brad killed Abby. So they ended up getting into it, and then Jami said, listen, if the cops question me, I'm gonna tell them the truth about where we was that night, or whatever the case was. But Brad can't risk that getting out because don't nobody know about him and Margot but him and Margot. So he makes sure to let Margot know that Jami's gonna be a problem. So we learn about that. What else happened? He also told his mama about the fight that he had with Jami and how Jami's gonna tell the truth about their whereabouts and where he actually was, okay? But she stopped him and said, don't tell me nothing. I don't want to be connected to nothing you got going on. I don't want to know. Don't tell me. Hush your mouth. Keep it quiet. Margot goes to the police for questioning as she's supposed to, but she tells them the truth, but also not really. So she tells them that she was with Sophie all night, but she says she did take a Xanax that night, and she did end up getting behind the wheel driving for a family emergency. That's what she says. And instead of them looking at her and questioning her more about that family emergency, because she's more of a permanent fixture in the city and who she's connected to, they not gonna dive into her story more. If anything, they're gonna look at Sophie because a lot of this stuff ain't start happening until Sophie and them moved to the state. Or moved to the state, moved to that town. And it was her gun. So she's like, I was with her up until that time, but I left to go for a family emergency. So I don't know what the hell Sophie was doing for the rest of the night. I said, damn, here we go. So Margot says that she had a family emergency that was back in Alba. And I guess once they investigated it, it did check out. Girl, this a mess here. Now we get to Abby's funeral. Abby has the funeral, or it's Abby's funeral. Sophie decides to show up, but she ended up getting kicked out. Like, you gotta go. In the midst of her leaving, she gets that same phone number like, yo, will you talk to me now? The one-eyed man is trying to talk to her. The way that she ran around this entire season and has yet to talk to the one-eyed man is a problem for me. Because you could have learned so damn much, it would have prevented you from being in this situation. But after season 8, y'all is not finna pay me that these people, the one-eyed man and stuff, did not see what she did. I believe they thoroughly saw exactly what she did in the final episode for the people that's watched the whole episode. And they're going to play a significant role, I feel, in the upcoming season. So hopefully they get a season 2. I don't know if it's going to be on Netflix, but it would be nice. Anywho, so Jami does come out and he talks to her, but he ain't really talking about it for real. So the police question Sophie again at her house. This is when Sophie told her husband before the police got there, like, baby, I feel like I'm being framed. Like, some of this is not making sense. You know, everybody icing me out. They're not talking to me, yada, yada, yada. The one-eyed man still trying to have a conversation with me. Something is going on. Police come there to question her again. Her husband pissed off because he like, we in this mess again. Okay? I said rightfully so, because you keep making these poor ass decisions, Sophie. So he's over it. He said, you know what? At this point, I'm not trying to have all this shit you got going on around my son. So, yeah, and it's clearly that you ain't, in my words, so happy here because you keep going against the damn grain and shit. So go out there and live your damn life and figure this situation out. Go out here and fix this mess that you've created for your damn self, okay? You go do that. So she got kicked out. Now, when you go to Abby's funeral, right? Because, again, it's Abby's funeral. She goes, I'm sorry. It's at the burial site. Pastor Pete shows up to the burial, but I didn't see Pastor Pete at the funeral, and I didn't see him like standing out there at the burial. He just sent his ass in the car. Now, mind you, he was just looking at pictures of Abby's friend or relative, whoever that chick was. And so he pulls up on her and asks her if she need a ride. She said, well, I was going to ride with Abby's cousin. And then she said, well, sure, I can ride with you. Girl, Pastor Pete is who exactly we thought his ass was from the beginning. Yes. So Sophie goes to the hotel. She going off on the voicemail on Margot, like, bitch, I ain't know that you was ever going to be the type of person to sit up here and frame me for murder. I done lost everything because of you, my family, my son. Like, all of this I lost. And I said, girl, nah, you lost that shit because of you. Part of it, yes, a little portion of it is because of Margot, and she is likely setting you up. But at the same time, ma'am, it's also giving you made the poor ass decisions and went against the grain and went against your better judgment. You are the reason that you're in this very situation. So there's that on that, love. Okay. Margot sits with Callie and Johnny when she's over there with her husband. Her and Jed are over there with Callie and Johnny. And they're talking about whether they believe that Margot really did this. Callie talking all kind of big shit about Sophie because she never liked her. And then Margot said, well, y'all be the judge. So she plays that very voicemail that Sophie left on her voicemail to pretty much play against her going off. So you let me know what she's capable of. I said, ooh, this a trifling hoe here, honey. This a trifling bitch right here. Ooh, this a trifling lady. But she playing that role. Now, in the middle of the night, Jed's ex-wife rings up Sophie and said, hey, listen, I want to let you know, girl, I was at that funeral and bitch, you looked a fool. Okay? It's giving every bit of guilty, but I don't believe that you did it. All right? You need to look at where all the cars are pointing at. And Sophie said, Margot, she said, ding, 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 dummy. Okay, you need to play this a little more smarter than what the hell it is that you're playing. All right? Because they know what they're doing. And she was like, who know what they're doing? Who you talking about? Margot and Jed? She said, no, dummy. Margot and Kyle. She said, oh, Margot's brother. She's like, yeah. So you might want to sniff around that. So she ends up giving Sophie the address to the man's house, baby. Sophie pulled up to the man's house, and before she could even knock on the door, the man busting open the door with a gun, butt, booty, ass, and naked with a zick hanging. Zick hanging. Okay. And so he pulled her into the house. Like, who the hell sent you? What you doing here? Snatched her ass up, put her right on up in the house, honey. So we'll figure out what's going to happen on the next few episodes. But that's all I got. Like I said, make sure you guys are liking up the video, commenting, subscribing, doing all the great things. Of course, I'm Jami, that's me. Don't forget to like, do all that. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.
Yeah, tell them I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a proxy. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone me like Agent Smith. Game time, I invaded gym, high elevated, I could face the rim. Putting shots up, I got laser take it over, I'm Invader Zim. On a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man, they say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasting film, I can feel it